Okay, let's start the chapter. Okay, today we will be talking about chapter 7, entrepreneurship, one of the most interesting subject in the business because overall entrepreneurship, in order to do well in entrepreneurship, you have to have a good understanding of operations, supply chain management, accounting, and technology, finance, all these things in order for you to manage a business. So, entrepreneurship is a very interesting subject. I usually teach a full semester course under entrepreneurship. Anyway, so today we'll talk about the entrepreneurship and starting a small business. Now, what we're going to do is basically we will be talking about explaining why people are willing to become entrepreneurs and describe the attribute of successful entrepreneurs. Discuss the importance of a small business to the Canadian economy, summarize ways to learn how small businesses operate, analyze what it takes to start and run a small business, outline the advantage and the disadvantage that small businesses have in entering a global market. By the way, in the end of this chapter, we'll talk about business plan, which is part of your second assignment by end of the semester. The age of the entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship, accepting the challenge of starting and running a business. This is what it's all about. Small business and entrepreneurship differ in the following ways usually. It's the amount of the wealth creation, speed of wealth creation, risk that you level of risk that you take in, and if there is an innovation and a level of innovation, degrees of innovation. So why people take the entrepreneurship challenge? For many reasons. Sometimes you have a new idea, or you want to do a new process or a product. Maybe you want to be independent, you like the challenge, you have a family pattern, your family all involved in entrepreneurship, you're into it for a profit, or you're probably just an immigrant that you want to start your own business in this country. But what it takes to be an entrepreneurship, to be an entrepreneur, you have to be a self-directed, self-disciplined, self-nurtured. You are action-oriented, highly energetic, full of power, tolerance for uncertainty, accept uncertainties, and able to learn very quickly. I would consider myself, I'm an entrepreneur, especially in the first half of my life. Now, turning your passions and problems into opportunities. You see, problems could be your problem or somebody else's problem. Just stand outside and see people. They complaining how you can solve their problem is one idea of entrepreneurs. So turning a passion that you have and problems into opportunities. A business idea is a good business opportunity if it fills the customer needs usually. You have the skill and resources to start a business. You can sell the product or services at a price customer are willing and able to pay and still make a profit. Now you have the skill and the resource to start a business. That doesn't mean you own it. You can have an access to it. Entrepreneurs don't believe, they don't do a lot of, owning things, they look at the access to these resources as a part of it. You can get your product or a service to the customers before your windows of opportunity close or before the competitors with a similar solution beat you to the marketplace. That's one of the things you can do. So you have to be one step ahead of competition. And you can keep the business going on. Small and medium-sized entrepreneurs, or SME. We will call it SME, which is a small and medium-sized entrepreneur. There is significant female entrepreneurs. But SME refers to all business with less than 500 employees. The reason why female became entrepreneurs, they might for a financial need, lack of promotion opportunities. We know that, problem. They're probably working in a place full of, they don't get promoted easily. Women returning to workforce, family and personal responsibilities. They want to take care of their families. Public awareness of women in business. They feel like they are just like other women. They can take over businesses, which is they should. Part-time occupation. They might want to do some part-time occupation and high rate. There is a high rate, by the way, of success for women in the entrepreneurship. Now, when we look in an entrepreneurial teams, an entrepreneurial team is a group of experienced people from a different area of business who join together to form a managerial team with the skill needed to develop, make, and market a new product. So you and your friends, each one has a different skills. You get together and you become an entrepreneurial team. Represent establishing a business or a service or a product, something like that. So it's a group, and usually bankers, investors, they like these options very well. So these are the things that you might want to do that. It's combine a creative skills with the production and marketing skills right from the start, can ensure more cooperation and coordination among functions because each one has different skills and can cooperate also. There is what you call a micropreneur and home-based businesses. A micro enterprise is a small defined as having 1 to 4 employees. And you see these sometimes in a garage, in a coffee shop or something. And then what you have, a micropreneur. It's a small business owners with a fewer than 5 employees who are willing to accept the risk of starting and managing the type of businesses that remain small. They're not planning to go big. Let them do the kind of work they want to do, for example, and offer them a balance of lifestyle, maybe. Reason for home-based business. Reason for home-based business, you might maybe because of the computer technology, internet, good PCs. There is a corporate downsizing. There is COVID with the situation, social and change attitude, and challenges, which is includes, as we said, the COVID today. Getting a new customers, managing time, keeping work and family staff separated, abiding by a city ordinance, and managing the skills or the risk. I'm sorry. Home-based potential home-based businesses. Things that an entrepreneur can get into it, and you see lots of them in the market, things like home renovation services, window services, floor services, different pet product services. You can see there is a catering, cleaning, sales and services, e-commerce, we see the swing and alteration, and other in-home beauty services. These are all home-based businesses. Then what we have is called web-based businesses. Web-based businesses being developed for the last 10, 15 years, which is web-based business offer more than merchandising found in the store. It is online spending is expected to reach 8% in 2000. It's increasing, and now it's a huge due to the uh, pandemic. Then what you have, another type is called affiliated marketing. It is an online marketing strategy in which a business reward individual or other business affiliate for each customer to affiliate send to its website. So you create kind of a website, or you create connections, and your job is to take these people to go to the other website and they buy from it. That's affiliate. There's other kind where you have your own website, people comes in, buy from you, and you're buying it from supplier, and that's called a drop shipping. This is one of the easiest way to start a web-based business. Now, entrepreneurs within firms, there is, companies start realizing that entrepreneurs can sustain the business in the small, medium to large size companies. So they started creating a department for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, they call it entrepreneur, which is a creative people who were entrepreneur within the corporation. The guy who discovered the stick notes, the within the 3M is an entrepreneur was. The idea is to use the company existing resources, human resources, financial, physical, to launch a new product or generate a new profit. Now, encouraging entrepreneurship, what can a government can do? And in Canada, they do a lot for encouraging entrepreneurship. First of all, it's easy to establish a company. But government usually can create business incubators, centers that provide a space, service, advices, and support to assist in new and growing businesses to become an established and successful. Usually the goals of incubators are produce successful companies, create jobs, retain business in the community or society, building and accelerating certain industries, and probably diversifying local economies also. So getting started in a small business, usually you need a business established must meet the following. It must have at least one employee and an annual sale revenue of $30,000 in Canada. It must have incorporated level, obey federal corporate income tax and pay the taxes, and at least once in the previous 3 years. In the small businesses, a business that is independently owned and operated is not dominated in the field and meets certain standards of the size in terms of employees and annual. That's a small business, which is independent, it's not dominated, has a certain size of employees and have a certain size of annual. That's called a small business. Small business often able to provide a better customer service, that, and respond to customers quickly, more flexibility is there, and than any large organization. Here is an indication in Canada, well, it's showing that almost 98% of the people work in smaller businesses, which is less than 100 employees, medium size, only 1.8 and zero point 0.3, although most of us have a tendency to want to work for a large businesses, but there is not many chance, and I don't think it's a good place to start your career there. Small businesses can give you lots of opportunity to learn and to grow than a large businesses. Look at this very important statistic here for the Canadian society. Understand how is the business happening here. Now, as we said, the 97.9% of the Canadian of the business in Canada have a fewer than 100 employees. Small businesses created little over 1.1 million jobs between two or for the last 10 years, for 10 years in duration. Small business employees around 8.2 million individuals. Actually, if you look at the small businesses, it's not a small because you say lots of small ones, makes it the largest business, which is consists of 70.5% of total private labor workforce. That's a big number. Small business contribute 30% of Canada gross domestic product, their revenue, 30% of revenue, and SME export $1.6 billion worth of goods. So they are very important. And about 16% of a small business are owned by female, which makes it very interesting, and 20% were owned by both male and female in an equal partnership. So if you look at it, 36%, there is some kind of a female involved in a small business. Now, cause for a small business failure that you need to take into consideration when establishing your business is the fact of plugging in without first test the water on the smaller scale. You just, establish a business without even first trying it. Underpricing or overpricing, that could be for your goods or services. Underestimating, this is why you need a business plan. Underestimating how much time it will take to build a market, starting with the too little capital that cause a failure, starting with too much capital and being careless when it comes to in its use, going into with a little or no experience. That's my suggestion, at least spend the first 3 to 5 years working for a company, learn from there and before you start your own business. Borrowing money without planning just how and when to pay it back. Attempting to do too much business with the too little capital that you have. Not allowing for a setback and unexpected expenses. So you are not putting backup plans for your business. Buying too much on a credit, borrowing too much, not getting paid on time, that cause a failure. Extending credit too freely, that's, you give a credit too freely to others. So that's causing lots of expanding credit too rapidly, give lots of credit. Failing to keep complete, accurate records so that the owner drift into a trouble without realizing. You're not keeping the good account books and you don't know if you're in the financial trouble or not. Carrying habit of personal overspending, extravagance into the business, not understanding the business cycle, sometimes goes to the recession, sometimes of the day is not doing good business, forgetting about taxes, insurance and other costs of doing business, and mistake the freedom of being in a business for oneself for the liberty to work or not. It takes more work for you to running your smaller business. You have to have a commitment for it. So it's a freedom, but it comes in with work. The more you put work, the more chance of surviving and profiting more. So here's the issue that you can be successful, make you successful in a business. Well, first of all, the customer requires a lot of personal attention, as in the beauty uh, parlor. parlor. So you can pay lots of attention to them. The product is not easily made by mass production techniques. This is where you can be successful. Custom tailored cloths or customer auto body works. Sales are not large enough to appeal to a large firm. So if you're selling a small, like a novelty shops, a large business sells a franchise operation to local buyers, which is, don't forget, franchising as an excellent way to enter the world of small businesses also. The owner pay attention to a new competitors, and these are makes it cause of success. And the business is in a growth industries, not a declining, like computer service, housing in Ontario, for example, web designing, SEOs. So learning about a small business operation, there are several ways to get into your first business venture. First, learn from others. You could join a company and learn from them or other people. Get some experience. Buy an existing business, that's another option, so you can learn from them. Buy a franchise and inherit, take over a family business. These are learning about how there's, to get your first business ventures. These are options. But while you're doing an entrepreneurship or a small business, these are things that you need to keep into track to be successful and important. A business plan, planning your business. Finance plan, finance your business. Do you have a marketing plan, which is knowing your customers? Do you have a human resource development, managing your employees and keep record? Very important and account. As I said, entrepreneur or a small business needs to know about business, finance, marketing, human resource, accounting, operation, supply chain management. These are the disciplines that you need to understand it. So what's a business plan? Business plan is a detailed written statement that you're going to do end of the semester that describe the nature of the business, the target market, the advantage the business will have in a relation to competition, and the resources and the qualification of the owner. There is some links I'm going to put. It's about angel investors. They are private individuals who invest their money, their own money, in a potential hot and a new companies before they go public, for example. Then you have the venture capitalists, individual or companies that invest in a business in exchanging for partners. They buy share, basically. And crowdfunding, you go to the crowd and start collecting $10 from here, $100 from there, and you open a new business with their shares. And then you have the market, how we define a market. Market is a people with unsatisfied needs and wants who have both the resources and willing to buy also. In a business plan, which is you might gonna need it for getting a loan or partnering or having a suppliers helping you or a customer, you need a cover letter. You need to know the executive summary, what's in it. You have the company plan, you have a management team, you have a financial plan, prediction of income and expenses, capital required to operate, what's your marketing plan, where is the location, and if there is a manufacturing or services. plus any other information. You can put it as an appendixes there, or a backup for these information as an appendixes. Major challenges for small business prospects is difficulty to obtain finance. You don't have money, you cannot get more money. You don't have collaterals, you cannot get more collateral. May not know how to get started also. May not understand the cultural differences in a prospective market, different has different things. Maybe too much bureaucratic papers that they cannot go and manage it and do. This makes it difficult. Big businesses have a department to do these things. Overseas, the buyer enjoy dealing with the, that's the advantage that you overseas, the buyer enjoy dealing with individual rather than the large corporation. Can usually begin or they can ship faster and meet the requirement. They may support a wide variety of suppliers. Suppliers, they can have good contact with them. They can often provide more personal services, customized services, and because they can help, meet the overseas and expand their business very quickly. So here in this chapter, entrepreneurs are motivated by challenges, family, patterns, profit, or maybe immigrants. A small business generates between 25 to 41% of Canada GDP, and employees almost 70% of Canada private labor force. You can learn about small business by working for someone else, buying in an existing business, buying a franchise, or taking over a family businesses. To run a small business, you need to plan, finance, keep the record, get to know your customers, and manage the employees. From a global perspective, small businesses can usually ship faster, provide a wider selection of suppliers, and provide more personal services. Some of the challenges that a smaller business might face is difficult to get finance, lack of knowledge on how to get started, lack of understanding the cultural difference in the foreign market, and copious bureaucratic, which is lots of red tape and papers. That's the end of the chapter. Thank you.